Let's go, Dolphins! The NFL draft is almost here, and tensions in Miami are already running high. The Dolphins, with the 13th overall pick locked up, are about to make a franchise-changing decision. And while fans continue to dream of a deep playoff run, the Chris Grier-led front office continues to be the center of controversy. Grier, who honestly should have been fired by now, continues to call the shots, unfortunately. But let's focus on what really matters. Miami is in desperate need of elite defensive talent, and the cornerback position may be the most pressing concern. I've got all the inside scoop and analysis you need. So before you go any further, make sure you've hit the like button. If you've been a Dolphins fan for over 20 years, it's always great to see fans of all ages cheering for this team. And hey, if you're really loyal, leave a comment saying, "Go Dolphins! My heart bleeds orange and water." Now, the drama heating up right now centers on two elite cornerbacks in this year's draft. Will Johnson from Michigan and Jade Barron from Texas. These two are right at the top of nearly every draft analyst's board, and the Dolphins are in prime position to land one of them, assuming, of course, they don't both go off the board before pick 13. Here's the twist. ESPN's Jordan Reed is reporting that Barron could actually go before Johnson. Yeah, you heard that right. And he's not alone in that belief. Insiders are buzzing that Barron could sneak into the top 10, possibly even to the Raiders at number 6 overall. Why would Barron leapfrog Johnson? It's all about health, athleticism, and versatility. Barron had a dominant 2024 campaign, snagging 5 interceptions and earning the Jim Thorpe Award as the nation's top defensive back. More importantly, he's been healthy and fully active throughout the entire pre-draft process. Meanwhile, Will Johnson missed 6 games this season with a toe injury and skipped Michigan's pro day with a hamstring issue. Though he held a private workout, he declined to run the 40-yard dash, raising questions about his speed. Physically, Johnson is the bigger corner, standing at 6 1 inch compared to Barron's shorter frame. He's the prototypical outside corner, ideal for shadowing big physical receivers in man coverage. But Barron? He's the better athlete, hands down. He's faster, more explosive, and he's proven he can play anywhere on the field. While Johnson spent nearly all his college snaps at outside corner, Barron logged serious reps in the nickel and in the box, racking up 900 snaps at nickel and nearly 500 in the box over his college career. That versatility? It matters. A lot. Especially in today's NFL, where hybrid defenders are the key to disrupting high-powered offenses. Barron's athleticism also shows in the numbers. He posted a 4.39 40-yard dash, significantly quicker than Johnson's short shuttle, which clocked in at a sluggish 4.33. Simply put, Barron looks like the guy who can stay on the field in every situation. But let's talk coverage. Johnson may not be as flashy athletically, but he's got production. His QB rating when targeted was better than Barron's. His completion percentage allowed was lower, and he had more interceptions despite playing fewer snaps across just 3 seasons compared to Barron's 5. He thrives in zone coverage, using his length and awareness to make plays on the ball. He's not as fluid in man coverage due to limited change of direction skills, but there's optimism that his size and technique can develop at the next level. Still, we can't overlook tackling. Miami's secondary struggled last season wrapping up ball carriers. Barron's missed tackle rate sits at 14%, slightly better than Johnson's 15.7%. More importantly, Barron had to make a lot more tackles, often operating close to the line of scrimmage, exactly what we saw from Jalen Ramsey when he played in the star role. Barron's experience in that hybrid position could make him a perfect fit in Vic Fangio's scheme, if Miami does indeed move on from Ramsey, as the rumors suggest.
So the question looms, should the Dolphins use the 13th pick on a corner? With Ramsey possibly on the way out and the current depth chart featuring names like Ethan Bonner, Storm Duck, Cam Smith, and Artie Burns, it's a scary sight. Cater Koa can man the nickel, sure, but that outside spot opposite Xavier Howard is looking more like a liability than a strength. If Ramsey is gone, Miami desperately needs a new CB1. Waiting for the second round? That's a gamble. Prospects like Siobhan Revel and Trey Amos might be serviceable, but they don't offer the day one impact Johnson or Barron bring. Now, which one fits better? That's where things get tricky. Barron wins in athleticism, versatility, and tackling. Johnson takes the edge in coverage ability and size. If Miami believes they're losing Ramsey and they want a traditional lockdown corner, Johnson might be their guy. But if they want a new Swiss Army knife in the secondary, someone who can line up anywhere and handle today's hybrid offensive looks, Barron could be the better fit. Here's the wild card. Several teams ahead of Miami could ruin this whole plan. The Raiders at 6 are a real threat to grab Barron. The 49ers at 11 and the Cowboys at 12 could also be in the mix for a corner. If both Barron and Johnson are gone before 13, that's the nightmare scenario. And at that point, Miami may have to pivot to the defensive line or reach for an offensive lineman like Kelvin Banks. And let's be real, that's not ideal. The drop-off after Barron and Johnson is steep. So, here's where I leave it up to you. What do you think the Dolphins should do with that 13th pick? Should they go all in on a corner like Johnson or Barron? Or roll the dice and address another position? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to know who you're rolling with. Let me know in the comments. Should it be Johnson or Barron? Or is there another direction you think the Dolphins should take? Let's keep rolling, Dolphins fans, because this conversation is far from over and the stakes couldn't be higher for our franchise. We've laid the groundwork comparing J.D., Barron, and Will Johnson, but now it's time to dig even deeper into what this pick at number 13 really means for the future of the Miami Dolphins. Because here's the reality, this draft isn't just about plugging a hole on defense. This pick is about sending a message to the fan base, to the rest of the AFC East, and honestly, to the locker room. That message? We are either building something serious or continuing to spin our wheels in mediocrity. And unfortunately, with Chris Grier still somehow surviving in the front office, we know how quickly things can go south. Grier should have been out after last season. No excuses. Yet here we are, hoping he finally gets it right. One more misstep, one more draft bust, and this entire regime could implode. That's why this pick, between Johnson and Barron, is more than just about who's more athletic or who has better tape. It's about identity. The Dolphins need to decide, are they going to be a tough, physical defense that can dominate the AFC's elite? Or are they going to stay a finesse team that folds when the lights are brightest? Let's not forget, we're in a division with Josh Allen and the Bills, Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, and now an up-and-coming Patriots team under a new regime. Every one of those teams is loading up. Every one of them sees weakness in Miami's secondary, and if we don't address that now, with this pick, we're going to get picked apart week after week, especially if Ramsey ends up gone. And I know what some of you are thinking, but what about Cam Smith? Listen, I want to believe in Cam. I do, but let's be honest, the guy couldn't even crack the starting lineup last year. Coaches had every opportunity to get him on the field, and they didn't. That says something. Maybe he develops, maybe he doesn't. But can we really afford to hope he turns into a CB1 overnight if Ramsey gets moved? That's where Will Johnson might actually bring some stability. Sure, he's not flashy. Sure, his top-end speed is a question, but he's a technician. He's a zone coverage savant with elite ball skills. And in Fantio's scheme, which leans heavily on smart, reactive DBs, Johnson might be a plug-and-play option. He's got the size, the length, the football IQ. He's not going to get bullied at the line. He's not going to panic when the ball's in the air. And most importantly, he's not going to miss his assignment. But if we're swinging for the fences, Barron might be the guy with the higher ceiling. If you want to roll the dice on an athlete who can play everywhere, outside, inside, even near the box like a safety, then Barron is the guy you take. Imagine lining him up in a nickel role against the AFC's new breed of slot receivers and hybrid backs. He can blitz. So let's hear it. Sound off in the comments. If you were in the war room on draft night, who are you handing the card in for? Will Johnson or J.D. Barron? And that's where we'll leave it for now. But we're not done yet. In the next part of this breakdown, we're going to explore what this decision means in the context of the full 7-round draft. Which prospects could still be on the board in rounds 2 and 3? How do the Dolphins continue to build around this first-round pick? Stay tuned. I've got a lot more to say.